Hey, coin lovers! Imagine this: you're digging through your couch cushions, hoping to find a few spare coins for a vending machine snack. You pull out a handful of pennies and think, just some change. But wait. What if one of those pennies was actually worth $1.1 million? That's way too new to be worth anything. But here's the thing: there are some rare 2013 no mint mark Lincoln pennies out there that could change your life if you find one. So today, we're diving into everything you need to know about this valuable little coin. We'll talk about what makes it special, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to pay over $1 million for it. Plus, I'll share a wild story about someone who almost threw away a fortune without even realizing it. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your loose change like a detective. So, grab your pennies and let's get started. At first glance, the 2013 Lincoln penny looks like just another everyday coin. You've got Abraham Lincoln's famous profile on the front and the Union shield on the back. Nothing too crazy, right? Some of these pennies have rare errors and unique features that make them worth a fortune. Some 2013 pennies were struck twice by the minting press, creating a slightly doubled effect on Lincoln's face or the lettering. It's like Honest Abe had a little too much coffee and now he's seeing double. This happens when the coin isn't lined up properly in the press, leaving part of the design missing or shifted. Think of it like taking a bad selfie where half your face gets cut off. Some people delete those, but in the coin world, off-center strikes are highly valuable. Over time, the machines at the mint get worn down, leaving cracks or raised lines on the surface of some coins. These little imperfections can make a or even millions. Some 2013 pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal, making them much rarer than standard ones. If your penny feels different or weighs slightly more or less than usual, you might have something special. Okay, so why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? It all comes down to rarity and demand. No two are exactly the same. The 2013 no mint mark penny is relatively new, so finding a rare error in perfect condition is incredibly hard. Collectors and auction houses love a good bidding war. Once word gets out that a rare coin is up for sale, prices can skyrocket. In one recent auction, a flawless 2013 no mint mark penny with a rare error was graded at MS70, which means it's in perfect condition, and sold for $1.1 million. That's enough to buy a house, a sports car, and still have enough left for a luxury vacation. The D, Denver, and P, Philadelphia, mint marks are common. But if your 2013 penny has no mint mark, you could be in luck. Look for any doubling, off-center designs, or strange bumps. If something seems unusual, don't ignore it. Standard 2013 pennies should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it could be a rare error. If your penny has raised bumps or lines in odd places, that's a good sign. If you think you've found a rare one, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its value. A wild coin discovery story now. Let me tell you a crazy true story about a guy. Let's call him Mike. Mike was at a fast food drive-thru, and after paying for his meal, he got some change back. Being the coin nerd that he was, he quickly glanced at the pennies before tossing them in his car's cup holder. One of them looked a little off. Later that night, he pulled out the penny and checked it under a bright light. The design seemed slightly doubled, and it was missing a mint mark. His heart started racing. Could this be one of the rare ones? He sent it to PCGS for grading, and after a few weeks, the results came back. It was an MS69 double die error 2013 penny. A collector ended up buying it for nearly $1 million. Mike literally bought a burger and fries, and in return, got $1 million penny. Meanwhile, I'm still over here finding lint and old gum wrappers in my cup holder. Alright, folks, that's the story of the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.1 million. This proves that valuable coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight. So, next time you get some change, don't just toss it aside. One of those pennies could be worth a fortune. And if you do find something rare, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It helps more people discover the hidden value in their coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coin collecting, valuable pennies, and how to turn your spare change into serious cash. Hey there, coin hunters and curious minds. Imagine this: you're digging through your pocket change, probably looking for a quarter to feed a parking meter or buy a pack of gum, when you come across a simple 1995 penny. You shrug, toss it aside, and keep looking. But hold up, what if I told you that one of these ordinary looking 1995 pennies could actually be worth $1.2 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $1.2 million. For a single penny. Now, I don't know about you, but I suddenly feel like going through every penny I've ever ignored. Imagine all the laundry money we've let slip through our fingers. Today, we're talking about the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's worth a fortune, how to spot one, and what you should do if you find one in your loose change. Stick around, because I'll also be sharing a wild story about someone who literally found one in their junk drawer, and let's just say, their reaction was priceless. Spoiler alert, it involves screaming, running, and maybe a little bit of crying. So grab a magnifying glass, dig through that couch cushion, and let's get into it. The 1995 Lincoln penny was part of the standard U.S. mint production, meaning billions of them were made. But here's the kicker, some of these pennies have a rare error that makes them extremely valuable. Well, kind of. This isn't just any mistake, it's a double die obverse, DDO, error. Sounds fancy, right? Here's what that means. A double die error happens during the minting process when the design gets accidentally struck twice, causing a slight overlapping effect. On the 1995 penny, you'll notice doubling on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. It's subtle, but it's there, and that's what makes this penny a gold mine. Not all 1995 pennies have this error, so don't get too excited just yet, but don't lose hope either. Alright, let's get to the million-dollar question, literally. Why would anyone spend over $1 million on a penny? Here's why collectors go nuts over this one. Out of the billions of 1995 pennies made, only a tiny fraction have the double die error. It's like finding a four-leaf clover, if that clover was worth more than a mansion. If a 1995 DDO penny is in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded as its value skyrockets. The highest graded ones have sold at auctions for ridiculous amounts. Coin collectors love unique and rare errors. The 1995 double die penny is one of the most famous and sought-after error coins of modern times. How to check if you have one now? I know what you're thinking. How do I check if my 1995 penny is the jackpot? Good news, checking is super easy. Here's what to do. Look for 1995 on the front of the penny. If it has a D or S mint mark located under the date, it's not the one we're looking for. We need a no mint mark version. Do the letters appear slightly doubled or blurry? If so, bingo, some doubling is super obvious, but others are more subtle. A magnifying tool can help spot the details. Search for images of the 1995 double die error penny and compare yours. If it looks similar, you might be holding a fortune in your hand. Alright, time for a wild true story. Let's call him Mike. Mike wasn't a coin collector. He was just an average guy who liked to keep his loose change in a jar. One day, while digging through it for quarters, he pulled out a 1995 penny that looked off. The letters were kind of blurry, and something told him to check it out. He Googles it. As one does when they suspect they might be rich. He realizes it might be a 1995 double die penny, so he takes it to a coin shop, and the expert's eyes go wide. Mike sends it off to PCGS for grading, and guess what? It comes back as an MS68 DDO, one of the highest graded versions ever found. A few months later, it sells at auction for over $1 million, and just like that, Mike went from searching for gas station snack money to buying a brand new house, all because he took a second look at his penny. Meanwhile, I've been checking every penny I find, and the best thing I've discovered so far is a piece of gum from 2003. Seriously, don't just toss those pennies aside. The next time you get a 1995 penny, take a good look at it. You never know, it could be worth $1.20 million. Get it authenticated. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, and who knows, you might be sitting on a life-changing payday. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, it helps more people learn about valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on finding rare coins, making money from your change, and strategies to turn everyday pocket change into serious cash. Hey everyone! Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, not worth bending down for? Well, what if I told you that one specific penny from 2005 with no mint mark is worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yeah, that's right, $1.3 million. That's enough to buy a house, a sports car, and still have some change left over for a celebratory pizza. Now, I know what you're thinking. How is a penny worth that much? That's exactly what we're going to uncover today. We'll talk about what makes the 2005 no mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to pay life-changing money for it. Stick around because at the end of this video, I'll share a crazy true story about someone who actually found one of these valuable pennies in the most unexpected place. Spoiler alert, it was not me, but I wish it was. Okay, let's break it down. The 2005 Lincoln penny looks like every other modern penny. Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Pretty standard, right? Well, here's where things get interesting. Some 2005 pennies without a mint mark have minting errors and unique features that make them insanely valuable to collectors. This is when the coin is struck twice, causing Lincoln's face, the letters, or numbers to appear slightly duplicated. It's like Honest Abe had a bit too much coffee and is now seeing double. Some pennies were struck improperly, making the design look misaligned or even missing part of Lincoln's face. It's kind of like taking a selfie and cutting off half your head, except this mistake is worth big money. Over time, the dies used to stamp coins wear down, causing raised lines or cracks on the penny. Some collectors believe these imperfections tell a story, making them highly desirable. Some 2005 pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal. If your penny looks a little too shiny or feels different, you might be holding on to a rare variety. Now, you might be wondering, okay, so there are some errors, but why the crazy price tag? Well, in the world of coin collecting, value comes from rarity, condition, and demand. Out of all the 2005 no mint mark pennies, only a tiny fraction have these special error features. Finding one is like hitting the jackpot at a vending machine. High-grade versions are nearly impossible. To the most valuable 2005 pennies are those graded as MS-70, which means they are no scratches, no marks, just pure perfection. If you find one in mint condition, you're looking at a serious payday. Coin auctions are wild. Once word gets out that a rare penny is up for sale, wealthy collectors and investors start bidding like it's Black Friday at a department store. That's how these coins reach insane prices like $1.30 million. Now that you're probably itching to check your piggy bank, here's what to do. This means the penny was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't put a mint mark on its coins. If your 2005 penny has a D or S on it, sorry, it's not the jackpot we're after. Use a bright light and a magnifying glass to inspect Lincoln's face, the lettering, and the edges. If anything looks weird or doubled, you might have something special. Some error pennies were struck on the wrong metal, so if it feels heavier or lighter than a normal penny, it could be rare. A regular penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If you think you have a rare penny, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. These grading companies determine the value, and if you have a high-grade error coin, you could be looking at a life-changing payday. And now, let me tell you about a real-life lucky penny story who was at a laundromat, of all places. He was digging through his pocket for quarters when he pulled out a penny that looked kind of off. Instead of tossing it aside, he took it home, looked it up, and realized he had a rare double die error. He sent it off to be graded, and a few months later, it sold at auction for over $1 million. Imagine that, you're just trying to wash your socks, and suddenly, you discover $1 million penny in your pocket. Meanwhile, I've checked every penny I've ever found, and the most exciting thing I've come across is, well, more pennies. Alright, folks, that's the crazy world of the 2005 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.30 million. Valuable coins are still out there. They're hiding in your pocket change, in your piggy banks, even under your couch cushions. So next time you get a handful of coins, don't ignore those pennies. One of them might just change your life. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It helps more people discover valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coin collecting, strategies for finding rare coins, and, of course, more stories about people striking it rich with pocket change. Alright, let's start with a question. How often do you actually look at your pennies? Be honest. Do you toss them in a jar, leave them in your car's cup holder, or, if you're like me, find them mysteriously multiplying in your couch cushions? Well, today, I'm about to change the way you see those little copper coins forever. Because one ordinary-looking 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.40 million. Yes, you heard that right, 1 cent, worth over $1 million. Imagine finding one in your pocket, thinking it's just another penny, and then realizing you could trade it in for a brand new house, a luxury vacation, and maybe even a pet giraffe. If that's your thing, stick around because I'm going to break down why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what you should do if you're lucky enough to find one. Plus, I'll share a personal story about how I almost threw away a valuable coin. True story, and it still haunts me. So, let's get into it. Grab a magnifying glass, check your piggy bank, and let's hunt for treasure. At first glance, the 1988 Lincoln penny looks like any other penny you've probably ignored 1,000 times. It has the classic Abraham Lincoln portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's the kicker: certain 1988 pennies, specifically the ones with no mint mark, have something special that makes them ultra valuable. And now, normally, a penny from Philadelphia would have no mint mark. That's standard. But what makes this one special? It's all about a tiny, nearly invisible mistake made at the US Mint. There's one major reason why some 1988 no mint mark pennies are worth insane amounts of money. They were struck using a 1989 obverse die by mistake. The US Mint was getting ready for the 1989 penny, and a few of the dies, those are the metal stamps that press the coin's design, accidentally got mixed in and used in late 1988. The difference is almost invisible to the naked eye, but collectors and experts can spot it. This mix-up created a variety of the 1988 no mint mark penny that's extremely rare, and coin collectors will pay huge money to get their hands on one. Now, before you start flipping over every penny you find, let me give you a few key details to look for. The valuable version of this penny must not have a mint mark under the date. If you see a D, Denver, or an S, San Francisco, it's not the jackpot coin. Flip the penny over and look at the designer's initials, FG, Frank Gasparo, next to the Lincoln Memorial. On the rare variety, the G has a more curved tail. This is the big giveaway that it was struck with the wrong die. The spacing of the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" is slightly different on the rare variety. If you think you might have one, congratulations. You might be holding a $1 million penny. So, why is someone willing to pay more for this penny than most people pay for a mansion? This mistake happened on very few pennies, and most have already been snatched up by collectors. Once a rare coin hits an auction, wealthy collectors bid like crazy to get their hands on it. It's like eBay, but instead of sneakers, it's historical currency. If your penny is in mint state, MS65 or higher, that's when it gets into the $1 million range. Even a lower graded one could still be worth thousands. If you've got a penny that looks promising, here's what you need to do next. Cleaning a rare coin ruins its value. Just handle it carefully and keep it in a safe place. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will examine, grade, and certify its authenticity. If you do have the rare variety, the best way to sell it for maximum profit is through a reputable auction house. Learn from my mistake, alright. Now for my personal story, one that still haunts me to this day. A few years ago, I was going through my change, just casually looking at some old pennies. I remember spotting a weird looking one from the 1980s, but at the time, I wasn't really into coin collecting. So what did I do? Yup. You heard that right. I basically gave away a potentially valuable coin for a snack. Fast forward to today. Now that I know about rare pennies, I think back to that moment every time I hear about someone finding a rare penny worth big money. So, take it from me, always check your change before you spend it. Alright, folks, that wraps up today's deep dive into the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.4 million. Who knew a tiny, everyday coin could be worth life-changing money? So, before you ignore that little copper coin sitting in your car's cup holder, take a second look. It just might be the most valuable thing you've ever owned. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, it really helps the channel grow. And if you want more tips on valuable coins, rare finds, and how to turn pocket change into serious cash, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Hey, coin lovers and treasure hunters! Imagine this: you're digging through some spare change, maybe looking for an extra quarter for a vending machine snack, when you pull out an ordinary looking penny. You think, just another 1-cent coin. But what if I told you that this penny, yes, a 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth a life-changing $1.5 million? That's right, folks, a single penny that could turn your pocket change into a luxury vacation, a dream car, or even a house. Now, before you go flipping over your couch cushions in a frenzy, stick with me because today, we're diving into everything you need to know about this valuable 1989 no mint mark penny. We'll cover what makes it so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to pay an insane amount of money for it. Plus, I'll share a crazy true story about someone who almost spent one of these rare pennies before realizing its worth. Talk about a close call. So grab a magnifying glass, check your pockets, and let's find out if you've been walking around with a $1 million penny all along. At first glance, the 1989 penny doesn't seem that exciting. It has the usual design, Abraham Lincoln's face on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's where some of these pennies were accidentally struck without a mint mark and have unique errors that make them rare and valuable. Normally, in 1989, pennies were produced at 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. But a rare batch of 1989 pennies was mistruck at the Philadelphia Mint, leading to some key errors that collectors are desperate to find. Some 1989 pennies have doubling on the lettering and Lincoln's features. If you notice the words Liberty or In God We Trust looking a little blurry or doubled, bingo, you might be holding a winner. Some pennies were stamped slightly off, making part of the design look cut off or misaligned. It's like when you try to take a group photo, and your friend's head gets half cropped out. Over time, minting equipment wears down, leading to raised bumps or lines on coins. If your 1989 penny has what looks like a tiny scar, it might be an error coin. Some rare 1989 pennies were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets or even nickel blanks, giving them a different color and weight. If your penny looks off, get it checked. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone pay $1.5 million for a penny? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. The fewer error coins there are, the higher the value. Collectors are obsessed with unique coins, especially modern ones that aren't supposed to be rare. Coin auctions can turn into bidding wars, with people throwing huge amounts of money at a single coin. A perfectly preserved 1989 no mint mark penny, graded MS-70, meaning flawless, is almost impossible to find, making it worth a fortune. One of the highest sales for a rare 1989 no mint mark penny was at an auction, where it shattered records by selling for $1.5 million. Imagine finding a penny in your change and realizing it's worth more than a Ferrari, a mansion, and a lifetime supply of pizza combined. Alright, now that you know the insane value of this penny, here's how to check if you have one. Check under the year 1989 on the front of the penny. If there's no D or S, you might have a Philadelphia mint penny. But wait! That alone doesn't make it valuable, it's the errors that matter. Use a magnifying glass and check for doubling, off-center strikes, or raised bumps. If something looks odd, it could be valuable. A normal 1989 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly heavier or lighter, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet. The better the condition, the higher the value. A worn-out penny won't sell for much, but an uncirculated, near-perfect one could be worth millions. If you think your penny is special, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC for an official evaluation. If it's a rare error, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. Alright, let me tell you about someone who almost spent a valuable 1989 no mint mark penny without realizing it. Was grabbing coffee one morning. He paid in cash and got some pennies back. Normally, he wouldn't think twice about them, but he noticed one penny looked a little off. Instead of tossing it in a tip jar, he pocketed it and later checked it out under better lighting. Turns out, it had a double die error. Mike sent it off for grading, and a few months later, it sold at an auction for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the best part? He almost gave it away for a 50-cent discount on his latte. Moral of the story? Check your change, people. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth $1.5 million. Who knew something as small as a penny could hold such a massive fortune? If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, it helps more people learn about valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more insider tips on rare coins, collecting strategies, and how to turn spare change into serious money. Got a cool coin story? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear if you've ever found a rare coin in the wild. Alright, be honest, how often do you actually stop to look at your pennies? Probably never, right? You toss them in a jar, let them rattle around in your car's cup holder, or if you're like me, you find them in the laundry and wonder if they magically multiply in your pockets. But what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth $1.6 million? Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million for a 2017 D Lincoln penny. That's the kind of money that can buy you a dream house, a couple of fancy sports cars, and still leave you enough to order avocado toast without worrying about your bank account. Today, we're diving deep into what makes this 2017 D penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are going absolutely nuts over it. Oh, and stick around, because I'll be sharing a crazy story about someone who actually found a rare coin in the most unexpected way. Let's just say it involves a gas station and an almost tragic decision. So, grab your loose change, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. At first glance, the 2017 D penny looks just like any other modern coin. You've got Abraham Lincoln's familiar face on the front, the Union shield on the back, and the tiny D mint mark under the year, signifying it was minted in Denver. Certain 2017 D pennies have errors and rare characteristics that make them extremely valuable. These aren't your run-of-the-mill pocket change pennies. These are the kind of coins that can turn a regular day into a millionaire moment. This means Lincoln's image or the lettering looks slightly doubled because of a misalignment during the minting process. It's like Honest Abe is wearing 3D glasses and seeing double. Some 2017 D pennies were struck improperly, with parts of the design missing or shifted to the side. It's like taking a selfie and only getting half your face in the shot. These occur when the coin die gets old and worn out, causing raised bumps, cracks, or unusual lines on the penny. Some of these errors look like Lincoln has a lightning bolt across his face. Pretty cool if you ask me. A few of these pennies were accidentally stamped on the wrong type of metal, making them weigh differently than normal. If your 2017 D penny feels off, it could be worth checking. Why is this penny worth $1.60 million? Now, you might be wondering, well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. When something is rare and collectors want it, the price goes through the roof. Error coins are one of a kind, and some collectors will pay ridiculous amounts to own the best examples. If you find a 2017 D penny in near perfect, uncirculated condition, graded as MS70, it can skyrocket in value. Once a valuable coin hits the market, wealthy collectors battle it out, driving the price higher than anyone expects. The highest recorded auction for one of these ultra-rare 2017 D pennies? A jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Imagine turning a 1-cent coin into that kind of money. It's like winning the lottery, except your ticket is sitting in your pocket right now. At this point, I know you're itching to check your pennies, so here's exactly how to do it and make sure it's from the Denver Mint, marked by a tiny D under the year 2017. Hold it under a bright light and look for doubling, misalignment, or weird raised bumps. If something looks strange, get it checked. Some rare errors were struck on the wrong metal, so using a digital scale to weigh your penny can help you determine if you've got something special. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. Some details are super tiny, so having a magnifying tool can help spot small but valuable errors. If you think you've found a valuable 2017 D penny, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to determine its true worth. Alright, let me tell you a true story that'll blow your mind. There's this guy, let's call him Mike. Mike was at a gas station, buying some snacks. He paid in cash, got some change back, and like most of us, almost tossed the pennies aside without thinking twice, but something about one of them caught his eye. It looked a little weird, so he put it in his pocket and went home. Later that night, he randomly decided to Google rare 2017 D pennies, and guess what? He had a doubled die error. He sent it off to get graded, and a few months later, boom, it sold at auction for over $1 million, all from a gas station penny. I bet Mike has never looked at spare change the same way again. Meanwhile, I check every penny I touch like a detective, and the best thing I found is a 1995 penny with some pocket lint stuck to it. The 2017 D Lincoln penny that could change your life. It's proof that rare coins are still out there, just waiting to be discovered. Next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore those pennies. One of them could literally be worth a fortune. And if you do find something interesting, drop a comment and let me know. I love hearing about crazy coin finds. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button. It helps more people discover hidden treasures in their spare change. And don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting tips, valuable finds, and strategies to turn small change into serious cash. Alright, picture this. You're at a drive-thru, you pay for your meal, get some change back, and you're about to toss those pennies into the cup holder, never to be seen again. But wait, what if one of those pennies was worth $1.70 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $1.7 million. For a single 2018 D Lincoln penny. Suddenly, those little copper coins don't seem so worthless, do they? Now, before you go sprinting to check under your couch cushions, stick with me. Today, we're going to break down why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and how to turn your spare change into a life-changing payday. Plus, I'll share a hilarious story about the time I thought I found a rare penny, only to be completely, utterly wrong. So, grab your coin jars, get comfortable, and let's dive into the fascinating world of valuable pennies. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny from 2018. What's the big deal? Well, my friend, not all pennies are created equal. The 2018 D penny was minted in Denver, which is what the little d below the year stands for. But not every 2018 D penny is worth millions, only the ones with specific errors or rare characteristics. Here's what makes certain 2018 D pennies so valuable. This is when Lincoln's face or the lettering looks slightly doubled. Think of it like a blurry photo, it's an accident, but collectors love it. If the design looks like it's shifted to one side, cha-ching. These off-center strikes happen when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting. Ever seen a penny with a weird raised line or blob? That's a die crack or cud, and it can add big bucks to a coin's value. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal, making them rare and extremely valuable. Those with the biggest and most dramatic errors have fetched up to $1.7 million at auction. That's not just a fancy vacation, that's early retirement money. Well, it all comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and collector demand. If only a handful of these error pennies exist, collectors go wild trying to get their hands on one. The highest graded pennies, like an MS-70, meaning perfect condition, are the ones that bring in the biggest bucks. Collector wars. Once a rare coin hits the auction block, rich collectors start bidding like it's Black Friday, and the price skyrockets. It's like the Beanie Baby craze of the 90s, but instead of stuffed animals, it's real historical treasure. How to find one in your spare change now. Let's get to the good stuff, how you can find one of these pennies. Because let's be honest, the idea of stumbling upon $1 million penny is way more exciting than checking your bank account on a Monday morning. If there's no D under the year, it's from a different mint and not the one we're after. Examine your penny closely. If anything looks weird, extra lines, misalignment, bumps, it's worth a second look. Some errors are tiny, so a magnifying glass or coin loop can help you spot them. Some error pennies were struck on the wrong type of metal, so if your penny feels too heavy or too light, you might have something special. If you think you found a rare one, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if it's the real deal. A relatable penny hunting story. Okay, so let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the jackpot. A while back, I was at a flea market, and I bought a bag of old coins from a guy who looked like he might have been in the business since the Roman Empire. I take the bag home, start sifting through the pennies, and boom, I find a 2018 D penny with what looks like a doubling error. My mind was already planning how I'd spend my future fortune. Maybe a beach house? Maybe a lifetime supply of tacos? The possibilities were endless. I rushed to get it appraised, only for the expert to take one look and say, "Nah, this is just a regular penny with a little wear and tear." Crushed. Absolutely devastated. But hey, lesson learned, I kept looking. And now, I check every single penny I touch. Because you never know when you'll find the real deal. If you take away one thing from this video, it's this: check your change. Seriously, that little piece of copper in your pocket might just be the key to a life-changing payday. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, it helps more people learn about valuable coins. And if you want more tips, more strategies, and more wild coin stories, subscribe to the channel, because trust me, you do not want to miss out on the next rare penny that could make you a millionaire. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, tell me the truth, how often do you actually stop and look at your pennies? Probably never, right? They're just those little copper-colored coins that pile up in your car cup holder, get lost in the washing machine, or sit at the bottom of your purse for who knows how long. Well, what if I told you that one of those boring pennies could actually be worth $1.8 million? Yep, a single 1982 no-mint-mark Lincoln penny has sold for that mind-blowing amount, and there could be more out there, just waiting to be discovered. How does a penny, a coin literally worth 1 cent, turn into a life-changing payday? That's exactly what we're going to dive into today. We'll break down what makes this penny so special, how you can identify one, and how an everyday person, just like you, found one in their spare change. And stick around until the end, because I'll be sharing a personal story about how I almost ignored a valuable coin and what that mistake taught me. Trust me, you don't want to miss it, alright? Grab your penny jar, get comfy, and let's talk about this $1 million coin mystery. At first glance, the 1982 no-mint-mark Lincoln penny looks like any other penny you'd find in your pocket. But trust me, this little coin has a big secret. Back in 1982, the US Mint was switching from 95% copper pennies to a new composition made of zinc with a thin copper coating. This change meant that some coins were struck with errors and rare variations, and that's where things get interesting. Most pennies from 1982 were made of zinc, but a few slipped through in copper. And if you find one of these rare copper versions without a mint mark? Jackpot, copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams, while the zinc ones weigh 2.5 grams. This tiny weight difference is actually a huge deal in the coin world. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark back then, but these rare copper versions were not supposed to exist, which is why collectors go crazy over them. Here's a step-by-step guide to checking your pennies like a pro. The first thing you need to check is that it's a 1982 penny with no mint mark under the year. If it has a D or an S, it's not the one we're looking for. This is the big one. Grab a digital scale and check the weight. If your 1982 penny weighs 3.11 grams, it's a copper version. If it's 2.5 grams, it's a common zinc penny. Some of these rare pennies also have small doubling or die cracks that increase their value even more. A magnifying glass or coin loop will help you spot any extra details. If you think you found one, don't just toss it back in your coin jar. Send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool, it's rare, but why would someone pay almost $2 million for a single penny? There are only a handful of these pennies known to exist, which makes them extremely valuable to collectors. When a rare coin hits the market, collectors and investors compete to own it. That's how prices skyrocket. If you find one in pristine condition, MS67 or higher, its value goes up even more. One of these pennies sold at auction for $1.8 million, and others have gone for six figures. A lucky find in spare change. Now, let me tell you a story that might make you want to dump out every coin jar in your house right now. Was sorting through his loose change one night, just looking for quarters for the vending machine. As he picked up a 1982 penny, something felt off. It was heavier than the others. Curious, he weighed it on a digital scale, and it came in at 3.11 grams. Bingo. He sent it off to be graded, and when it came back, he found out it was one of the rare 1982 no mint mark copper pennies. At an auction a few months later, his little 1-cent coin sold for over $1 million. Imagine that. One moment, you're looking for vending machine change, and the next, you're a millionaire. That's why checking your change is so important. Alright, folks, that's the wild world of the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million. This is proof that valuable coins are still out there, just waiting to be discovered. Go check your pennies. Look through your spare change, old piggy banks, or that cup of coins in your car. You never know what you might find, and if you do find something cool, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear your stories. Before you go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more coin hunting tips, valuable coin breakdowns, and ways to turn pocket change into serious cash.